Sorry everyone, I meant to be here a little bit sooner. Hello, it's good to see you. You know, sleep is really important. You can't function unless you get at least some hours of sleep in your day. I'm trying to improve the number of hours that I get per day, but sometimes you stay up late writing a script, working on a project, finding these little troublemakers, breaking pots for money. You know, life gets in the way sometimes. That's why I was so impressed with Echoes of Wisdom. Being the Triforce of Wisdom holder, Zelda is smart enough to not only make beds, but to also sleep on them at any given time. Fittingly, you will in fact recover health while snoozing. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, see? Beauty rest is healthy rest. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. This also made me wonder, Link himself will also be woken up at the beginning of his journey by someone or something, but how ready is he for his journey? Did he have quality sleep, or did he set off on his journey groggy and in need of coffee? Did he awaken in a comfortable environment, or is he super stressed out? We're gonna take an unnaturally deep look at just how well rested Link is for the beginning of his journey. So grab a pillow and I don't know, go back to bed? Let's see what we can find. I'm actually a little delirious. This should be fun. We'll be going in order of release that features Link sleeping at the beginning of the game. That, of course, starts us off with The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Perhaps one of the best intros to a video game, we see Link sleeping in his bed at home. As the rain is pouring, Link is suddenly woken by the sound of a voice that calls to him, someone he's never met before, claiming to be Zelda. As he comes to, his uncle advises him that he stay at home, while he just ups and leaves armed with a sword and shield. I, myself, might have gone the heck back to sleep, but not Link. He gets up and acquires a lamp for the midnight adventure to come. So we're off to a pretty good start here. Link lives in a nice little home, he's tucked in bed, and is woken by the sound of potentially cute girl. He has family to reassure him that he'll take care of important business, and it's very likely the scent of petrichor is in the air from the heavy rain outside. I personally find that scent very soothing no matter what time of day it is. However, there is a lot of tension in the air. The voice in his head claims that she's been imprisoned, which makes it seem like you definitely shouldn't just stay in bed. Not only that, it's going against his uncle's wishes to stay home. There is hesitation and facing a dilemma for a moment, but being the good boy that he is, Link goes to the rescue. I'm not exactly supposed to be out here, but hey look, someone cares about my well-being. I'm gonna ignore him. As many already know, you very quickly find your uncle who, He takes his own nap soon after. He's probably fine. Though I am kind of disappointed that he only got one room in before choking. Just one? What'd you get got by over here, a rat? Probably should have got a little more sleep, eh, uncle? Given the situation, this is still a fairly high on the level of sleep quality. Despite being woken at the middle of the night, this Link gets a lot more comfortable rest than the others will find on this list. Link's awakening poses an interesting case. We all know that Link gets shipwrecked on the beach of Koholint Island where Marin finds him. If this was your first time seeing the game, you might think he's going to wake up right there, but that is not the case. Instead of waking up on a random beach after inhaling water and getting sand all up in his jimmies, he wakes up in a house on someone's bed, greeted by cute girl. Granted, he's probably still a little soggy, but at least he's in a bed. Marin says he was tossing and turning, so he may have been having a nightmare. She and Terran take the boy in, so it could have been worse, but he's gotta be so confused. Link's so discombobulated that he mistakes that girl for Zelda. He gets up and explores the tiny little village of Mabe, where nothing appears amiss. Despite everything that just happened, this is a rather peaceful opening, even though mostly everything around him is foreign to him. I imagine it must have that sort of surreal feeling of exploring a location that seems almost familiar enough, but still makes you weirdly restless. Kind of like when you're in a dream or something. The fact that everything is so dang peaceful lessens the stress a lot though. There are some hostile creatures right outside of the village, but it's nothing we can't swipe out of the way. Honestly, I'm more concerned with how wet Link was, since he didn't actually change clothes, though he might have dried out quite a bit on the beach depending on how long he was out there for. And more importantly, whose bed was he sleeping in? Aaron's or Marin's? They are identical, but it could make all the difference. It's the subtle things. Now, unlike the previous Links who both got to wake up in a comfortable bed, the Link of Ocarina of Time situation is just so much worse. Yeah, that's his bed, but look at it! It's half pre-render, half pre-built off of Amazon. There's no blankets, there's no pillow, the poor lad is having a nightmare of someone he's never met before being chased by this crazy looking man who wants to give him a high five. He's shivering, he's miserable, but it doesn't even end there. Grandpa Tree sends a little fairy to intrude in your house, illegally breaking and entering just to yell at you to wake up. Lazy, the boy is suffering from nightmares and probably depression. Navi, check your privileges. After you finally wake up, you get greeted by cute girl. It would have been very different if Saria was the one to wake me up first. She seems a lot more respectful at least. Unlike some of the other spoiled brats here. Oh, but you know what? I do agree with this statement right here. See that, Nintendo? Real men and fairies go hand in hand. Therefore, bring back Panel de Pon. Quality of sleep is overall affected by the other factors of this place too. Context is important. And in this case, he's getting rolled over by rocks, doing yard work, whether it's cutting up grass or getting smaller rocks out of the way, getting insulted, being poor in a tiny society run by children. Oh, this Link is miserable. The hero of time has probably the worst sleep quality of any character. He probably feels less important, taken advantage of, and has nightmares. The only solace he really has is Saria, but unfortunately, that's not enough to outweigh the bad, or to prevent this from being at the very bottom of Link's sleep quality. Oracle of Seasons pretty much gets right to the point. The 3 sacred Doritos thrust Link into a quest where he sort of just lands in the middle of the road. Luckily, he's seen and taken in by cute girl. This Link wakes up to the sound of jovial celebration and music. Approaching the site, he sees a troupe of sorts playing instruments, drinking, just people enjoying life. I doubt Link really has any idea what's going on, but sometimes you just gotta shake it off and dance. Link doesn't know how to dance. So, no bed, and he's been asleep for an indistinct amount of time. Did they just plop me next to the wagon instead of inside of it? Could they not have given him at least something nicer to sleep on? Maybe that's part of the reason why this Link also suffered from nightmares. The party is nice, but he has no idea where he's been. If it wasn't for Din, he could have met a much more dire fate. And you know, normally I wouldn't count anything that happens after waking up, since identifying the immediate world around us helps us give context to Link's sleep. But this is different. Not long after waking up and enjoying the festivities, the party is entirely ruined by a strange new figure, Onyx. He kidnaps Din and throws the balance of nature out of whack. This is where Link wakes up again, this time in a cold patch of snow and grass. Now he's woken up by Impa. Thanks, Grandma. We can only assume that he slept here for a much shorter time, but dude, it's freezing out here. He's gonna catch a cold for being on the floor like this so often. But yeah, unlike most games, he gets the double whammy, and both times sleeping on the floor. I gotta give it a lower grade this time. This is not the ideal environment to sleep in. This poor Link goes through the ringer. Oracle of Ages also puts Link in the middle of a new land, and he wakes up. What? He's just awake? Wait, why? Why does Seasons Link sleep while Ages Link is just kind of there? And it's so quiet. I could have sworn he was sleeping. Did I just remember that wrong? I had a segment ready. I was going to talk about all the memorable characters like Nehru and What's-His-Face and how the villain's a mommy. I really love the Wind Waker. I'm sad I can't add Majora's Mask to this list since he's wide awake at the beginning of that game, but at least I can talk about my second favorite Zelda game. You can't really get more cozy than Outset Island. Link's lived here for as long as he can remember, and there's a familial community that supports each other. Small, sure, but it's there. He wakes up notably on the floor, but he's woken up and greeted by Lil Sister. Given their brief interactions with each other, they definitely have a positive relationship as siblings. He also gets news that today is his birthday. Now I'm assuming he just willingly took a nap here. He does seem like the kind of Link that would just sleep anywhere if given the chance. Man, I would be way too warm in those pajamas, but he's totally used to the climate here. Not to mention, at this high altitude, there must be an amazing breeze giving them the freshest, crisp air of the sea. I'm not too worried about this Link because he does have a home to sleep at. And a grandma! A grandparent, as many of us might be able to attest to, are usually very comforting to be around as kids. She makes you put on these weird green clothes, but she's still very sweet. Thanks, Grandma. There's not too much to say. I mean, Link is waking up at home, the most comfy place you can imagine. I guess the only issue is that he didn't have an actual bed. And I mean, sure, he does kind of get his sister kidnapped just moments after waking up, but we're not gonna take that into account because we can only assume Link's led a life of peace on Outset Island. Until now. Very high ranking as far as sleep quality goes. Would you believe me if I said we can beat that with the next game, the Minish Cap? Check this out, Link is in a bed, who is officially now my favorite recurring supporting character. May not seem like a big deal, but sheets and a pillow are apparently a luxury in Hyrule. He lives with a blacksmith and has his own home, room, yard, the works. Just the intro itself is very soothing, but to add to the coziness, Link is paid a visit by cute girl. Not just any girl, it's Zelda this time. She snuck out of the castle to come and get you. Not only do you see the Princess of Hyrule first thing when you wake up, she wants to invite you to the town festival? Oh my goodness, say less. Sure, you're equipped with a sword to go run an errand, but you get to hang out at a festival with Zelda. And really, don't all the best games have a carnival in the beginning somewhere? This is probably one of the most feel-good intros of any Zelda game. You two are just having a good time, hanging out, and look! She even wins a prize for you! I am not worthy of this kind of life. I mean, like previous games, things kind of take a turn for the worse a few minutes later, but yeah, you know. She's probably okay, she's just sleeping standing up. Even when getting zapped by evil energy, this guy somehow still finds himself in a bed, comfortable as can be. It's easy to assume that he had a full night of sleep at his own home. Other Links are jealous, cause you know why? This is also one of the very few Links who can go back to bed. That's right, we can finally choose to take a freaking nap with like the cutest sprite animation you ever did see. That, my friends, is what we call a quality of life improvement. Minish Cap's hero stands as the most well-rested and comfortable Link so far. Wind Waker's Link did have one more go-around with Phantom Hourglass. So how well was he sleeping in a bed before getting woken up? That's a trick question. He wasn't. He was sleeping on the floor again. Come on, man. I guess it's nice that he was being read a story while sleeping. Not that I believe any of it processed. Boy, was out like a light. He was taking in more of that salty sea air though. Can't be all that bad. Could do with less sass though. But to our surprise, this is yet another two-parter. Not long after you're seen chilling out with the pirate crew, disaster strikes as a strange ghost ship parks up right next to us. Petra, to our dismay, gets stolen away and Link is thrust into the ocean. Somewhat similar to Link's Awakening, he washes up on an island, but this time to the sound of a voice. It's kind of a family tradition at this point. This time, however, it's a fairy again. Oh boy? Sela is a lot more chilled out than Navi and is genuinely concerned about Link instead of calling him out for being lazy. Unfortunately, this time he has no idea where he is, unlike the first wake-up call earlier while being read a story. This island does have a hostile environment with monsters, but luckily we didn't land in that area. Unfortunately, for as much as I would like to talk about him, Lineback does not show up soon enough to be relevant to Link's sleep quality. Sorry, bro. Putting the two experiences together, I think this Link has an acceptable but below average sleep quality. I'm sure he was having a good nap on the ship and a much less joyful time with more sand in his jimmies. Spirit Tracks is a game I will always defend, but does Link wake up from his sleep in a healthy environment? As a worker in his community who earns minimum wage, hopefully, does he get a proper night's sleep? He wasn't. He was sleeping on the floor again. I actually love what they do here. Both games on the DS start off basically the same way with Nico telling you a story and then panning to Link who's just passed out on the floor. We get kind of harassed when waking up, but like, I guess he deserves it? He's still in uniform and on the clock. Even so, this is a more familiar environment than what other Links have had to deal with before. The land is covered in train tracks, so I assume that this Link gets his beauty rest all over the world. And when he isn't on the road, he's rooming up with Nico. What a nice guy. All things considered, he has a pretty good and stable life. There's not really any signs of being overworked. After all, he is literally getting his license on the day that we begin the game. He also gets to know Zelda pretty well, even though she's, technically dead. Sorta? Not really? It's complicated. It drives her a little mad, but she's still one of my favorite Zeldas ever. But I'm rambling. He has okay sleep quality. Better than Phantom Hourglass, but not by much. Circumstances are very different, but given the instances of these openings and how one boy is comfortable enough to just fall asleep on the floor, Spirit Tracks Link has just an acceptable amount of sleep quality. Oh, Skyward Sword. Link is plagued with nightmares of both a massive grotesque whale monster and the sounds of tutorials. I shudder at the thought. He's woken up abruptly, probably for the better, by Zelda's Loftwing, who very respectfully hands Link over a letter for him. Link lives in a dorm that he shares with other members of the Knights Academy. This is one of the only times that we see Link with a room that he can call all his own, so there's definitely that comfort and familiarity. He rolled right out of bed and probably got some bird spit on him, but the letter? From a cute girl. It's also nice that he does have a blanket and pillow at least. Sadly, this Link does suffer more ridicule from others just for getting a little extra sleep. You stop that, we love a well-rested king. Skyloft is such a nice little place. Fresh air above the clouds, people living their lives and taking to the skies with their birds. It's a pleasant, idyllic setting and home. You're also childhood friends with Zelda, another rare occurrence that we've only seen in Minish Cap. Doesn't mean I know how to talk to her though. What do I tell her? Nice costume. Wait, what? Ah, no, Link, this is why we're single. Look, we just woke up. This is too much pressure before breakfast. No wonder she pushed us off to our death. I feel a deeper connection with this Link because he tends to sleep before school. You can also take a break on a little stool or bench to help recover your health. He will try to sleep, but this isn't the best spot for that, right? No, we need to find the right bed. Wow, Skyward Sword is taking so many cues from the superior game, Minish Cap. See, sometimes a midday nap is exactly what you need to keep on going to get the rest of your work done. You do you. All in all, very good sleep quality. Amongst the higher ranks for sure, even if sometimes I have to wake up and see Gruse's face. He's a good boy when you get to know him. A Link Between Worlds throws Link right back into a nightmare. Why must this be a thing? The last time I woke up from a nightmare, I just didn't want to do anything, but here we are again. Not only do we wake up from a nightmare, it's from this child yelling at me. This Link also has a job and also works alongside a blacksmith. Nintendo, are we running out of ideas? Also, why does everybody mock me for getting a little extra sleep? The workforce is so cruel. This opening is nowhere near as memorable as A Link to the Past, but I guess that's not the parameter we're measuring on, is it? This is about sleep, and you know, call me crazy, but after really observing and analyzing how well both of these Links were sleeping, I still think that this Link has it worse. At least in this instance, mind you. This Link is waking to a peaceful world and got more hours of sleep, sure, but he woke from a nightmare, got yelled at, was late for work. There's a lot of stress happening to this kid. But in A Link to the Past, he was woken very gently to his uncle telling him to stay safe, to the sound and smell of rain. Also stressful, but man, I would trade waking up late, groggy, and getting ridiculed by my boss any day. It's definitely a preference thing, but I rate the sleep quality just a little lower. Again, it was just comparing the instance of the morning of the adventure beginning. I'm pretty sure that if you've watched this far, you don't have to have me explain the opening to Breath of the Wild. He wakes up right out of cold storage. That's some impressive Sheikah tech, just wakes up after 100 years of sleep and not a single trace of muscle atrophy. I do feel bad for Link, pretty much gets a Bluetooth call right to his head saying, yeah, all our friends are dead, evil won, and I'm stuck at home holding back the screams of the damned. But at least it was a call from a cute girl? Just kinda left me with nothing but my boxers and an iPad. I would be afraid. There's nothing familiar around me, and I haven't touched grass in a century. Probably the most well-rested Link though? You can't really feasibly beat his record literally in your entire lifetime. The only hint of civilization is this guy who judges my choice of fashion. What, old man? It's been 100 years. These pores have gotta breathe. It's in the title. I thought this was Breath of the Wild, not Breath of the Modest. At the very least, it's not an immediately hostile environment, but the unfamiliarity and confusion would just be really unsettling. He doesn't even remember Zelda right away. Then I'm immediately tasked with jobs from the voice in my head, some old man, this leafy boy. It's a lot to handle. I do not take business calls this early in the morning. It's weird, right? Sleep-wise, he's very well rested, but the situation is just uncomfortably foreign, you know? It's like when you wake up in a hotel or somewhere when you're on a trip, and you have that split-second panic of, where am I? Except I would be panicking for a good long while. You might call me out on it, but I'm putting this one pretty low. It's just a little hard to justify saying I had a good night's sleep and I'm ready to tackle the world when most of the world was already taken on and destroyed. Finally, we come to Tears of the Kingdom. So, just so we're on the same level, yes, I do realize Link is not asleep at the beginning of the game, but the events that happen shortly after the intro are significant enough that I think I can count his sleep just after the main setup. After a visit to Ganondorf's musky basement and giving him the old wake-up call, Zelda falls into the abyss and Link goes somewhere? He wakes up, presumably years later, in a strange little hidey hole. A voice tells him that they've heard stories of him through Zelda, and once again, Link is very confused at the start of his journey. It's the most uncomfortable I think Link has ever been. I mean, his whole arm is missing, or at least replaced by another arm. That might be even worse, actually. He shuffles around and finds the Master Sword with probably the most depressing jingle you've ever heard acquiring an item in the Zelda franchise. So yeah, missing a limb, Zelda is gone, evil runs amok, and my health is deteriorated. Just sucked and slurped all the hearts right out of me, man. We do wake up somewhere relatively safe, but we're still kinda left with nothing but my boxers, a rusty knife, and an iPad Pro. Again, like with Breath of the Wild, I can assume he did sleep for a good amount of time, but it's all the other factors surrounding him that diminish the quality of waking up. It's not just sleeping, it's where you sleep and the comfort you feel when waking up that determines your mindset first thing in the morning. That's kind of what I've been ranking all of these on so far. This ranks Tears of the Kingdom on a similar level to Breath of the Wild, even if he does wake up somewhere initially tranquil. Wow, the architecture and design of these structures sure are beautiful. Oh yeah, it's important to note that you can go back to sleep in both of these games too. You can even choose the kind of bed. A soft bed? Shouldn't they all be soft? The biggest travesty is that you don't actually see Link go to sleep, it's only implied. I can't even get on the bed? You're telling me I can go to the far reaches of Hyrule, down to the depths and back again, but I can't mount a bed? Just let me sleep. Thank you all so much for watching. This is how I ranked all the Links. Of course, this is just my opinion and interpretation of it. I'm not a sleep expert, I am just a sleep enthusiast. Seriously, when's the bit coming to Smash Bros? Echoes of Wisdom looks like a fantastic game, and it's reminding people everywhere that sometimes you just need to lie down and catch your breath. Sleep is precious, and we cannot function or be the heroes of our everyday lives without it. And water. Stay hydrated. So what is your favorite intro to a Zelda game, and does it include Link sleeping? Let me know in the comments, because I'll be sleeping when this video goes up. Help me out here, man. I'm just a graphic designer and a night owl. So if you like and subscribe because of the video, I'll know that I did well and I can do more silly videos like this in the future. My fate is in your hands now, just like this pillow that I'm squeezing as I record this. It's very early in the morning. The family is downstairs getting ready for school and they're probably wondering what I'm yelling at while half awake. So for the sake of everyone involved here, I'm gonna go lie back down. And when I get up, I'll probably play Echoes of Wisdom. I really hope Link is taking a nap in there somewhere. Sweet dreams, everyone, till we sleep again.